Fiction and reality. New stories, new ideas. Little Beth Entertainment.
Welcome to episode 120 of The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. In this episode, we're joined by Mike Crupe of Mack Performance Rocketry. He'll be talking to us about all things Mack Performance. And, you'll see what happens to me. And then we'll go into what we've been up to since the last time you heard the show. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes in our lives, so we'll talk about that and so much more. Stick around. The Rocketry Show starts right after this.
The Rocketry Show thanks RocketryForum.com for their support. This is Jesse, and I've been a member for 4 years. The Rocketry Forum is a global community of Rocketeers who openly discuss all aspects of hobby rocketry. If you have a question, hop on and ask. There are hundreds of experts who can answer just about any rocketry question you have. You can also find me by searching for Model Rocket Guy, and I'll be happy to help any way that I can. Check them out today at RocketryForum.com.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Welcome to The Rocketry Show.
All right, lift off and the clock is started. Yes, sir. Reading loud and clear.
A podcast that is all about advanced and high-power rocketry. Amateur-built rockets, starting at mid-power to higher-power versions that can reach the edges of space. This program is hosted by the team who love the smell of burning ammonium perchlorate in the morning. Here are CG, Gene, and model rocket guy, Jesse Yu.
Welcome to The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. I'm CG.
I'm Gene.
And I'm Jesse Yu, model rocket guy.
Alrighty, in this episode, we've got a very special guest. We've got Mike Crupe of Mack Performance Rocketry. We're going to be talking about all the cool kits and some of the other cool tech that they've got to sell for you in your rocket kits here. So welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
So Mike Crupe, he's hailing in to us from the upstate New York area. So that must mean that you were hanging out with the folks up at IRF and Geneseo and all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are pretty much the places that we fly.
Excellent. We'll have to keep an eye out for you next time we're out that way. We're hoping to hit one of the two pretty soon there this year. So do a show there.
That'll be fun.
Cool to catch up with you in person.
Yeah, for sure.
The best place would be to head out to Potter out and take one of their launches. They've got a good waiver out there, good club.
Yeah, we haven't been out there in a while. One of our very first on location shows was out at Potter, and since then we've been at the Geneseo location a couple of times. But we have not been back to Potter in a long time, so we should do that. That's going to be a lot of fun because that's a pretty cool place to fly. And just for those of you who haven't been to Potter, they're on the same location they've been for years, right? They haven't changed location. Okay, so basically the field that's there is a farm, but it's like, it was described to me as a failed Finger Lake. So it's kind of like in a depression in the ground there. And when we were there was a storm that kind of blew in, and everyone had to get their cars out of there because if you don't, you're not getting your car out of there because it tries to turn into a lake again.
Yeah. Evidently, it's got a lot of, they call it the muck. They've got a lot of nicknames for it, but it was always wetlands and it was part of the Finger Lakes. And I guess they figured out a way to kind of, keep the water out of there and dry it out. And now it's the Tory farm. So, quite a story behind it.
It's a very interesting place, but a really cool place to fly rockets.
I'll have to make it out there one of these days. I've always wanted to, head out that way, especially with all the national events that those clubs get. And now that Mike, flies out there, I got to go. I got to go visit. Just meet you guys out there. I think it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
And it's very pretty area around there too. A lot of really pretty sights. So if you take your significant other out there, dudes, you can make it up by going to one of the really nice places out there and let them have fun after you have your fun.
Okay, fair enough.
Or before, depending on how the arrangement is.
Yeah, there you go. So, Mike, let's just start off. I got a couple of questions, if I may. Just the basics, like how did you get started in rocketry?
I guess I'm the same as most guys. I'm a bar. A couple of different times over the years, back and forth. I tried to get my nephews interested at one time, and they, of course, had no interest.
Sounds familiar.
I wound up in Michael's Arts and Crafts with my wife, and there was this display in there that was full of Estes rockets. And of course, I grabbed a box of them, brought them home, and that kind of started it back up. That was around 2006, 2007, I guess. So,
okay.
That dragged me in. I put them together. I flew a few, and that's when I kind of, searched around a little bit and found out there was more out there than Estes. I didn't realize that mid and high power really kind of existed the way it did.
Right.
And then, of course, the more you look into it, you see how much, it has transitioned over the years. So, hook, line, and sinker. I decided I wanted to give it a shot. So, next thing you know, you contact all the places, you're buying everything. You're not even sure what you need, and you're off building rockets and stuff. So, quite a learning curve there. But,
right.
And I've stuck right to it ever since.
Okay. So how did you? Yeah. How did you do that transition from building the good old Estes kits after you went into the store and found some, you start flying them? How did you make that transition into the mid and high power rockets?
Well, I managed to fly in a few places, like everybody else. You meet people here, you meet people there, you see what's out there, and everybody's always so willing to give you a hand, the camaraderie that's out there and everything else. So, I kind of got led along a little bit with certain things. And then, I took off running on my own. Of course, I figured I had it all figured out immediately. And so I tried, product from this place and product from that place and a couple of kits and stuff. And then really thought maybe I'd be better off to just buy some components and put something together myself. And
sure,
that's kind of how the scratch build thing started. It's kind of always been a hands-on type guy like that. So, it's funny over the years that I was flying other people's stuff and building my own. I would joke with my wife and I would say, I think I'm going to make some kits. And she would give me that look, and she'd go, "Yeah, right." So,
and I think everybody knows that look.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. So for a couple of years, that went on. I mean, actually, for quite a few years. And finally, I was getting close to retirement. I thought it would be the ultimate dream to be able to retire into your hobby, do what you really enjoy. So. About 2 years before I retired, I looked her square in the eye and I said, "I'm going to do it." And she knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time, and that's where it kind of started. So, I didn't really know a lot about putting all that together. We'd been in business before in other areas and stuff, but nothing that really kind of lapsed over into the rocketry thing. So. We spent a year or two really just trying to figure out what to fly and what combination. I started with cardboard. I thought some fiberglass fins were a big upgrade, and
sure.
But it really come down to trying to find something that would split the difference between flying paper or phenolic. Or flying fiberglass, and there's such a big hole there, but there's not a lot of option for materials to fill it. So in the industrial world, where we spent 25 years, there was this canvas phenolic, CE is what it's called. It's actually, I think the correct name for it way back is micarta, or something like that is the name. But it's used for insulation for transformers. It's used in the electrical world. And a lot of the applications for it was very similar to G10. It all kind of fell in those same categories. So
interesting.
I looked around. I had a couple of different manufacturers and distributors send me some pieces to look at, and it just seemed to me that it felt like a good product that we could make work. And of course, the problem was Rocketry really doesn't have an industry standard for sizing. So a 3-inch tube is about the only thing that's 3-inch, and everything else is either millimeters or it's 3.9 or it's whatever.
Right.
So, we had mandrels made. We had the canvas made for us, and it's just taken off. It's taken a few years to really catch on. We don't really push, a little bit in TRF. The product seems to kind of sell itself. People who have been buying and flying seem to be, very happy with the product and all. So,
what were you high power certified at that time where you started thinking about canvas phenolic, or like where did that come in your journey? Like, where your levels are.
I was actually level 3 certified before we started this.
Okay.
I did my level 1 and my level 2 in Massachusetts at a club, CMAS.
CMAS, yeah.
That's where Noob flies, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Who?
Daniel from the Rocketry Show, or the Model Rocket Show. Sorry about
Our
that.
sister show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's where I kind of really got introduced to a field and flying for high power.
Okay.
And so I did my level
cool.
1 out there. I used the same rocket, and the following year got my level 2. And then
there you go.
In 2012, I got my level 3 at Red Glare down at Maryland, MDRA.
Yes.
So I've been certified since then.
Okay. And then as you were like getting into the levels, this is like all this thought about using that material to do body tubes and whatever started to come to fruition. So, I mean, how did you like build a scratch for yourself, or what does that look like for that?
Yeah, really through those years, I was using some other products out there and doing a lot of scratch builds, but I really hadn't looked at the possibility of another airframe option. When we first started, I went to the same resources as a lot of the guys do for the cardboard, and got that, and then just kind of mixed and matched stuff. The canvas thing didn't come around till I would say 17.
Okay.
I think 2017. It took a couple of years to kind of come up with the idea and the product. I just it's tough because there's a handful of manufacturers and rocket people out there, and I didn't want to fall into either the cardboard or the fiberglass thing. Yeah. I guess you're just you really need something special to be able to compete at that level with those products. So if coming up with something else that was a good option for the flyers and a good option for ourselves, really made a lot of sense. It works well too, because there's a lot of flyers that are either not certified or level 1 and are looking to step up. And this gives them an opportunity to maybe check out the canvas, fly some canvas before they go to glass or carbon or whatever. And then there's the other side of that coin too. There's a lot of flyers out there that have been flying glass for years.
Yeah. Right.
And sometimes it's nice to have something that's easier to handle. You can just throw it up in the air or whatever. It's easy to work with the product and everything. So we really find a lot of people that are glass flyers that are, grabbing a couple of kits and trying it out, and they're happy with it. So we're being in the middle. You kind of catch people going in both directions.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, Mike, tell me about your level 1, level 2, and level 3 real quick. Were those designs that you, were they a kit that, you made your own, or was it a scratch build that wound up being a Mack performance kit?
So for my level 1 and level 2, in our website, there's a rocket in there called Radial Flyer.
Yes.
That Radial Flyer originally was called Joker's Wild.
Cool.
And that was the rocket. It was a 4-inch big dumb rocket, single deploy when I first built it. I put a small H motor in it, popped it up in the air, and got my level 1. And that I turned it into a dual deploy and flew that for my level 2.
Mm-hmm.
But the rocket, and actually, I lost half the rocket. I guess everybody has this happen at some point. I flew it, and I forgot to attach the harness between the payload and the booster, and I tracked my payload all the way down and never saw the booster again. My wife says it's in somebody's foyer as holding umbrellas. So, and she's probably right. But so I still to this day, I still have the payload nose cone section for it. So when we started doing kits, I always said, "Jesus, I'd love to build another one of those." And ultimately, that's what it wound up being. Is my scratch build, Joker's Wild, is actually our Radial Flyer now.
Cool.
So that's how that kit came about.
That's awesome.
It's fairly popular too. It does very well. And then when I went for my level 3, I did that as a scratch build also. If you in the website I think it's on the news page or links, maybe the links page or something, one of the pages. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, I'm standing next to a tower with a 7.5-inch rocket in it. That's my level 3 rocket. Okay,
nice.
That's my level 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
That's Bluetooth.
Okay.
My original Joker's Wild was also Bluetooth. I had that period of time when I built with Bluetooth, and that was kind of what I was using to get my experience with a scratch building.
That makes sense. Obviously, you were using what's available. So I do have a couple of questions about the canvas phenolic. The first one being, what is the difference that you've noticed, and what made you decide to go with the canvas type of phenolic versus, the regular flexible phenolic or like a PML type phenolic? Because they are different. It's substantial when you hold them together side by side. What are your thoughts on those? Like, what made you go with canvas?
Yeah, there's a lot of difference in it. The canvas is the binder, of course. So it is actually woven, and it looks almost like a very fine burlap,
right?
Type material. And I'm not sure how many layers wind up in a 062 wall, but it gives it a lot of strength. Phenolic. The word phenolic has a bad reputation in rocketry.
Sure.
It's everybody always thinks, well, it's something that's brittle.
Right.
And
right.
Traditionally,
let's be honest.
Cardboard phenolic was, it was. So, this worked out good. The manufacturer that we have, that we're using, actually since the beginning, they actually put in a flex agent into the phenolic.
It's noticeable.
So when you grab the tube at the end and you give it a squeeze, you'll notice it's a little pliable.
It's noticeable.
There's no brittleness there. It gets brittle when you pound it in the ground at 250 miles an hour, along with. Everybody else
Okay.
it's I joke and I say, rockets are designed to fly, not crash. So, everything has its breaking point,
Sure.
and it's but it's for what it is, it's strong. The 54 millimeter that Hyper 54 that we have,
Okay.
I've flown mine to Mach 2.3 and 23,000
Nice.
feet.
Okay. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stuffed a Loki L1040 in it down at Argonia and just
Wow.
let it
Go.
rip. So there's a piece of canvas. The 3-inch stuff, we fly all the time with 6XL 54s in it, got all those big heads.
I like it.
Awesome.
It's very capable.
So I think if what you're trying to say is that it's got the strength you need to fly. I think that's
Yeah,
the
for
impression
sure.
I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell people if the booster's long enough that a motor will fit in it, it will fly on it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah,
If you
yeah.
can stuff it in there, it's capable.
So is it waterproof?
Yeah, it really is. You can take and stick it right in the bathtub. Some guys, like they do with fiberglass, they take it and they stick it in the tub and they wash it before they handle it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you recommend doing that? Is it necessary for the canvas, or can you just start building?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Actually, when you get them, you'll find that there's virtually no dust inside of them.
I can
I
attest.
use it's a 10 or 12 inch Swiffer sweeper thing there that I have on a broom pole, and I drag it through all the airframes before they
Wow.
before they get kitted up and put in the boxes, just so you don't have to deal with that. And there's not a lot. Basically, what you need is a piece of 80 grit
Okay.
sandpaper and your favorite epoxy.
There you
to put it
go.
together.
You were
Okay.
told here, guys.
There's not a lot of. Yeah.
Awesome.
You don't need to fit too much stuff. I try to do well. They're all fit together before they go in the box. So you shouldn't have to fight with things. I like to say you shouldn't need every tool in the box to put a kit together.
Yeah, makes sense.
They build fast. They build pretty fast.
So man, it sounds I'm being sold
Yeah.
already. So the question
Right.
is like, as there's a lot this can do. Is there anything that you wouldn't recommend to use it?
That's a good question.
Don't slam it to the ground, right? We could iterate on that, right?
I say, because I'm thinking about this. We've never really had feedback from anybody that said, wow, it's you really shouldn't do this,
Okay.
or I tried to do this and it didn't, whatever. There's so many variables.
True.
I think it depends on everybody builds a little bit
Of course.
differently. Some guys will put 1.5 pounds of epoxy in a booster. I'm a spray foam guy.
Okay.
I'm the laziest builder in the world. I take we'll talk about that later. But as far as your question, I really, I don't really know. Everything has a breaking
Sure.
point. I'm sure, somebody's going to try and do something with it. It's probably not designed or meant to take. But I really, we really haven't had any feedback saying that, they found an inherent problem with it or it's no good for
So,
whatever.
like when you're talking about like the weight of canvas phenolic, like let's just say like a fiberglass airframe, your typical fiberglass airframe, is it lighter by about a factor of 2, or is it between cardboard and fiberglass in its weight? Because that's always something that's in the back of my mind is like how much weight am I trying to yeet up in the sky?
Yeah. If you took 2 identical sized pieces, one being a canvas sheet, say a 6x6 piece of 0.125 eighth inch, and you took the exact same piece of fiberglass, there's about 25 or 28% difference
Oh wow!
in weight. There's a lot, but that's deceiving in a way because everybody says, "Oh, fiberglass is so
Right.
heavy." Well, if you're flying thin wall fiberglass, Our canvas is .062 wall, kind of a standard type thing. But you can get fiberglass and thin wall that you'd be surprised how much closer the gap is
Okay.
getting between the weight of the two. So, identical for identical, yeah, it's quite a bit lighter. The other thing too is there's applications where we might put a 3/16 thick fin in a 4-inch kit, where somebody doing fiberglass may only opt for an 1/8-inch fin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the trade-off is kind of there you're almost to even Steven at that
Gotcha.
point.
Yeah. With all the differences. I mean, it's like it all, like you said, it all depends on the builder, how they're building, what they're building, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've just been quietly listening to this, and it's like I'm kind of looking at this stuff going, this could be useful for
CG starts
CG's
the ideas.
level 2 modular stuff here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? You have an open rocket file for something that you're dying to build. Send it over. Let's
there you
take a
go.
look at it. Maybe we put something
So
together.
obviously you do some custom work. Mike, is that's what we're gathering with that?
Quite a bit, yeah. I get quite a few people send us over open rocket
Okay.
files. That's how actually a couple of the kits that we wound up adding to our stuff were files that we got from customers. They're noted on the website for which ones they are and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I've had so many files sent over the years. I got a big binder full of them, and it's pretty cool to see everybody's got an idea. Sometimes you're kind of blown away. You sit there and you look at something, you say, well, Jesus, you know what? That makes sense. Or well, wow, that's pretty cool, or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty neat to see what everybody's thinking. But we probably do 2 or 3 kits a month that are our custom kits. They're done from files.
So I do have some testimonies. You said that you don't get any negative feedback on, some of the uses for the phenolic, but I do have some positive feedback that I'd like to share with you from a couple of users that we've had here on the Rocketry Show, that some names that you might know. So the first person I want to bring up is Joe Hill. Let me rewind back to last year. I had bought a 4-inch Scorpion based on what Mr. Kleinhens had our first guest for last season, right? So wasn't he talking about that 4-inch Scorpion, right, guys?
Yep.
CG and Jim?
Oh, he flies the heck out of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So he told us, he was, kind of telling us about his Mack Scorpion, and how, he had lost it, and, found it in the field. Remember that, Jim and CG?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So we, I went and bought a 4-inch Scorpion.
Yep.
Did an unboxing video for you guys last year. It's on the Rocketry Show YouTube channel if you guys want to go check that out. Joe Hill goes and buys a 3-inch based on watching my video. And how many times has Joe flown that rocket, guys? He when he was on a guest last year last season, right?
Yeah.
So Joe has flown that 3-inch Scorpion a few times. He even extended it a bit. You said that you had got some feedback on that. Mike, can you, every time he sends you something?
Yeah. He does it almost every time he flies it. And it's funny because he'll send me a video from when he flew it. And every time he sends me a video, it's got a bigger motor in it.
Testament.
It's like he keeps sneaking up on it.
No, that's good. Testament right there. And here in Colorado.
Joe, great guy.
Yeah. So, Andrew, Mr. Kleinhens, right? He has that 4-inch Scorpion.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe got some other things from you too. So CG and Jim, you'll have to go and really take a look at his Mack performance stuff now, right? But
Absolutely.
2 other testimonies here. Mr. George Barnes, he's one of our level 3 senior flyers here in Colorado. And then of course Conway, has picked up some stuff from me here recently. Now we haven't seen Conway, who's been a guest on last season and at the beginning of the season actually. He hasn't built any of that stuff yet, but I think he's in progress. So we'll have to see what he puts up here, this year, because listening to Conway talk, like I said, Conway is one of the only people that I can talk to, go off on a tangent and then rewind and come back to the main subject. And I can't wait to see what kind of feedback he has for your equipment. The second person, George Barnes, I understand the first time I saw George fly was a 4-inch black fly. That's a 6-fin rocket that you guys manufacture. You did something special for him for his level 3. Yeah. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you the George Barnes story real
please.
quick. Is George bought one of the first 54s when they come out, and that's 54 millimeter kits. It's 5-fin short thing, and he absolutely loved it. So we were spending a little bit of time on TRF at the time, and George wanted a larger one. So he did a survey on TRF. If you could have another bigger black fly, what size would you want? 3-inch, 4-inch, or what size motor mount? He did a survey.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, and there was quite a few people, that responded to it. And I'm thinking, well, geez, the 54 does good. Let's do a 3-inch and see what happens. So out came the 3-inch. Then out came the 4-inch. And of course, George has to do one of those. And then the conversation of the 6-inch fiberglass one.
Did you guys hear this? 6-inch.
And lo and behold, I think George has the first one. First or second one that was I had built one myself.
Well, of course, right.
But I mean, as far as the ones that we sold and stuff, and George was so helpful with things. The thrust plates that are on it, on the kits, the upgrade, George was machining those for us. And he laid out all different setups and stuff for the harness assemblies for it. It was part of his level 3 presentation type thing. And then I have a ton of videos from George. He does some of the best videos.
And photographs.
I think 2-3 of them at least. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I have pictures of it's George Barnes the Fifth leaning up against the fence post with his Western outfit on and stuff. But, just, George become a great, off subject for a second. I get so excited about, coming out to see you guys in less than 8 weeks.
Wow.
There's so many people that, you get to know, but never meet for a long period of time. And you develop these relationships with them and everything else. And then finally get to, put a face with a name and everything else. And being able to fly is crazy to be able to do that and see that those guys really, share the enthusiasm for our products the same as we do. So, so we're really, really looking forward to getting out there for that.
Yeah, but, so just to...
George has got the whole lineup. He's got one of every one, and he flies the heck out of them, too. He's not bashful.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back with Mike Crupe of Mack Performance Rocketry right after this. Stay close. All right, it's time for eRockets.biz. eRockets.biz is your home for unique model rocket kits, as well as the world's largest selection of rocket parts from Simrock. They've been in business since 2009. eRockets.biz has a wide selection of your favorite kits, as well as their own versions of popular out-of-production models that many of you have come to enjoy over the years. And Jesse, you've been looking around at stuff. What did you find?
One of the rockets that I do not have from Lock Precision is the Lock Expediter. And
you don't have something from Lock Precision?
I don't have this one. Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say. Sorry, Jay and Dave. But, the team at eRockets does carry a ton of some of the classic lock kits that everybody has seen people fly forever and ever. One of these is the Lock Expediter. It's a 4-inch diameter rocket that transitions down to a 3-inch payload. And, you can do motor eject on this real easy. This particular rocket is pretty tall for what it is. It's almost 60 inches. What is that? Nearly 5 feet tall. So it's a pretty hefty looking rocket. Just right around 3 pounds or so. It does come with a 54 millimeter motor mount. So you could put some pretty fat motors in this thing. It does come with the, not shock cord, but it does come with a recovery harness and a 36-inch chute. It comes with 1/8-inch fins, and it comes with 1/4 inch, centering rings. these particular rockets that Lock sells, they're just favorites. And every time that I see somebody, flying one of the transition rockets that's 4-inch to 3-inch, you kind of already know it's the Lock Expediter. So the fact that eRockets has this right now, they have it on sale. So go check that out, and they have these in stock. So go lock yourself out, guys.
All right. Go lock yourself out. There are also plenty of other rocketry items to choose from, such as educational rocket kits and supplies, air rockets, water rockets, and so much more. eRockets.biz certainly has enough kits and supplies to keep you busy in your workshop for a long time to come. If you need parts for your own custom builds, that's not a problem at all. eRockets.biz has the Semrock line of airframes, nose cones, centering rings, motor mounts, and so much more. Why? Because they own Semrock, so that's great. eRockets has more rocket parts available than anyone else on Earth, so check out eRockets.biz today to learn more. eRockets.biz. If rocketry scares you, buy a train set. Lock Precision Rocketry manufactures a full line of high-quality precision-fit electronic bays, motor mount adapters, recovery hardware, and harnesses, all designed to meet your building, repairing, and customizing needs. Lock Precision believes in making rocket kits as light as possible while maintaining the strength required to fly with commercially available motors. When you visit LockPrecision.com, be sure to also check out their wide range of rockets, such as the 4-inch Mystic Buzz, the 4-inch Lock Goblin featuring multiple motor mount adapters for 29 and 38 millimeter motors. If you're looking to gain entry into high-power rocketry, then you can certify for your Level 1 in style using the Lock 4 Rocket Kit. Lock features rocket kits for all flyers ranging from entry-level builders to experts. The name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid and high-power rocketry for over 30 years. Check out LockPrecision.com today to find out why. Find your airspace with LockPrecision.com and Public Missiles Limited.
Hey, all you rocket geeks out there. Do you like doing in-flight videos of your flights? And do you ever use those keychain cams and unfortunately sometimes only get videos of your thumb? Hey, this is Gene from The Rocketry Show, and that used to happen to me. I used to use those old keychain cams only to get nothing very good quality. But I found a solution to that, and it's Insane Rockets. It's an app that's available on the Google Play Store for Nexus 5X and higher. Now get this, it does 4K video. But not only that, it'll upload it automatically to the cloud and provide you real-time telemetry while tracking your rocket through Google Earth. It is amazing. Available on the Google Play Store, Insane Rockets app. It's crazy. No, wait. It's insane.
Welcome back to The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. Our special guest is Mike Crupe of Mack Performance Rocketry, and we're having a great time. And I've just been back here daydreaming about what I can build out of this stuff. So, Jesse, I'll throw it back to you so I can keep daydreaming and circle around here.
So his daydreams come from reality. So Jim and I are talking with Mike here, and we know that CG's in the background surfing the Mack Performance website. So feel free to do that amongst yourselves if you're listening to this right now. That's fine. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do, is listen to the show in the background of your rocketry daydreaming and building. So yeah, please continue. So Mike, you touch base on something that I will go ahead and talk to. So we here in Colorado, we have 5 or 6 big sites, right? One of our sites is Northern Colorado Rocketry, which is on the Pawnee Grasslands. We have the main events starting around May, and we have had just a little moisture this winter. It's still really dry in Colorado, and you guys hear me talk about this all the time about Colorado, is that there's potential chances of getting fire bans. In May, though, that's usually early enough that we're okay because it's right after spring. Hopefully we get some good rain this year. But we understand that Mike and his wife, Patty, are going to be coming down to visit us here in Colorado. And all the way from upstate New York, you're going to make that trek all the way down. I got to tell you, we're super excited to have you. I've been hearing stuff from George Tuma, George Barnes. I've been hearing stuff from Conway. I've been hearing so many people excited that you're coming out. So, Mike, we're excited to see you. Tell us about how you're planning to trek down.
Yeah, I'm actually, we're the ones that are really excited, that you guys will have us out and fly with us. That's pretty cool.
So you're bringing stuff to fly, right?
We're really looking
You
forward
are bringing
to
stuff
it.
to fly. Oh yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I've got 3 rockets I'm bringing out with me.
Yay.
We're we're actually making this a 3-week
Okay.
trip. It's because you guys are almost 2,000 miles
we're
away.
a little ways.
So,
Well, Jesse is.
yeah, we're going to work our way out. We're going to stay a couple of days in Cheyenne.
Cool.
We're going to check out, and after the launch, we're going to go down and check out Pikes Peak. There's a few different things we're going to take a look at while we're there. We've never been that far west.
Fantastic.
As far as on wheels, to be able to check things out. So this is like a trip of a lifetime for us.
Awesome.
We've been the last few years. We try at least one or two different clubs. We try to get out and fly with a bunch of them. There's a club up in Vermont, awesome club, CRMRC, Champlain Region Model Rocketry Club.
Yep.
I wish it was convenient. I'd go up and fly with them more often, but we try to get up there once a year to fly with them. But this Colorado thing is huge. On the East Coast, we're kind of limited with how high and how fast you can fly. Of course, one goes hand in hand with the other.
Yeah.
So this opportunity to come out and really, just let things rip is pretty exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is. So I've got a couple of carbon rockets I'm bringing out with me to fly. One, that Hyper 54 that I've flown before.
Awesome.
I have another one that I'm still in the process of building. It's my Colorado Flyer, and it's also carbon fiber. But that one there is it's a 4-inch rocket with a 75 mount in it, and I'm going to fly it on a 6XL 75. See what we can touch.
That sounds great.
And then I've got a canvas on the website. There's a Fire Stick XL. The one that's on the website is the one that I'm bringing out with me.
Cool.
And that'll fly
the prototype.
on a 6XL 54. Yeah.
So, sounds great.
I mean, always like to fly my carbon, but I also like to show off the canvas too.
Sure.
So people realize it's capable, a very capable thing. So yeah, we've had a couple of different offers from guys out that way, places to go, stay, things to do. George being, I think he's climbed all the peaks in Colorado, and he's quite the active guy. And I made mention to him that we want to do the tram or whatever it is that goes up to Pikes Peak.
Oh, that'd be fun.
They have a name for it or whatever, but
I know it is the tram.
And I mentioned to him that
I know it is the tram. Yeah.
We would like to go in the park and check things out too, but at the same time, after 3 days of chasing rockets around, I don't know how much hiking I really want to do. So to drive through, what are the highlights, some of the places and stuff. And he actually, he put an itinerary out. Well, when you're here, this is a place you want to go for dinner. You want to go to the museum here, this, that. But it's so valuable because, to find out from somebody in the area what they do, what they feel is inspiring, rather than, you stay in a hotel and you ask the person at the desk, where do you eat? And they send you to the Lobster Pound or something instead of, I want to go to the local place where everybody gets there. And, so it's more of an experience. But I've been back and forth with Conway, I don't know how many times, different things. Everybody's so helpful. I hate to
it's good.
names
It's
and
good.
stuff out,
We know who they are.
Everybody really just making us feel so welcome, and we're not even there yet. That's huge for us. So I hope we bring a little bit of enjoyment along with us. Don't disappoint anybody.
So another question that I have for you, I understand, you mentioned Argonia earlier, so that means that you've been out for like an Airfest or something, happening there in the Kansas area. And, I know that you have mentioned before, just in talking, that you had been out to like Midwest Power, which is in Princeton, Illinois. What other areas of the country have you been able to head out to fly at?
We've been down to North Carolina, Bayboro with, that group down there. you know.
And that's where Joe's at, and that's where
absolutely,
Jim Scarpine and
there's
yep.
Jim's. Yeah, Jim Livingston's down there, Alan Whitmore. There's a bunch of guys down there. That's a great
Awesome.
club down there.
So you've been around.
I struggled a little flying down there. Well, we tried to. We were involved with a lot of other things for quite a while, and it didn't really give a lot of time to do other things. The website, the rocket business, geez, a few years back, if somebody had told me it would be doing what it's doing now, I would have said, you're crazy. It's just, it's funny. Guys will wait till 2 a.m. on a Friday night. They got their paycheck. They see what's left over. And as soon as your wife goes to bed, they go in there and they start banging on their keys. They're in there ordering stuff. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. You can tell.
Never.
Honey, are you on the computer looking at porn? Sorta.
Yeah. Rocket porn.
Yes.
Rocket porn, But it's funny. But I mean, so many things take up so much time that it's tough to go. But Patty and I aren't getting any younger. Our travel time, we're fortunate enough that we have a vehicle we can get around in, and we're taking the time now.
That's great.
We're just going to do it. I always worry about if you order something today, I want to make sure it's in the mail tomorrow for you. But I think people also understand that, you got to take a little time off once in a while. There's been many times we've been on the road. We can monitor everything on the road. It's not a problem at all. But there's an order would come through and somebody wants a kid or wants this or that. And there's all the contact information is there. We call them or send them an email or whatever and just explain, listen, you were away, especially if you tell them you're off to a launch. They, oh, geez, have a great time. But people understand if, it's the contact. It's the communication, I think. People they're not looking for anything special. They want to know. They want to know what's going on with things. They want to conduct business in a nice way. But when you get a phone call or something and say, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry, we're out of town for a few days. I'll be back on Wednesday. We're doing things in the order that they came in, and we'll get you packed and out right away." Everybody understands because they know what's going on. It's I think just a good way to kind of handle things. But in the Northeast, there's downstate in the Pine Island area, still in New York State. There's Metra, METRA. And Metra's a great club to fly with, too. They've been there for years and years and years. They used to do NERF, Northeastern Regional Rocketry Festival. They did that for years and years. But we still go down there. It's 2 hours from the house.
Not bad.
Which is short for us. No. If we fly Potter's 4 hours. If we go up and fly Champlain up in Vermont, that's 4 hours for us. Massachusetts is 3 hours. So pretty much for us to go fly anywhere, it's tough to do it as just an easy day trip. Some clubs only fly on Saturday or Sunday, whichever is better for the weather. Other clubs, they'll fly the weekend. And if we're making the trip a distance, we try to never just go for the day. We try to go and fly 2 days. So, we've been pretty lucky to fly with quite a few clubs. Mars in Geneseo. I haven't been out there in quite some time, but geez, we flew out there for a long time too. And that's quite a place out there. They fly at, it's called the Hag. It's Air Force planes and stuff out there. I don't know the whole history and story behind it, but they've got a great club out there, a great spot to fly. And like I say, I haven't been out there in a while, but there's quite a few places around, and we've been fortunate to fly with quite a few of them.
I love that. Everybody's kind of got their central area, and I got my main club, and that's about 90 minutes for me. I know you guys do too. So, and then CG and Jim have been up to your neighborhood, so you guys have probably walked next to each other and didn't even know. Apparently, apparently I was at Midwest Power. I can't remember which one, but it was in 2018. And, I think Mike
18.
mentioned that you were there too. So we probably walked by each other, didn't even know. So small world, but big world all at the same time.
I would imagine. That's why I say we only went to the one Midwest Power, but we had been going out in the spring for quite a few years to Mini, and that worked out for us Memorial Weekend.
And that's Quad Cities, right?
What a great bunch of people out there also.
Quad Cities group?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. That's, Tim and Jackie.
Yeah.
Lear. Wild man. You talk about two people that are dedicated to the hobby.
And they're fun too.
They're
right.
Oh man. You have to spend a little time with them just to understand what fun is.
So CG and Jim, we can bring in Tim and Jackie at any point now, whenever you're ready, because they're ready to
intro's
give
been
on.
made.
Yeah, intro's
Very cool.
been made.
Now that I'm back from, taking a deep dive around the site here, I do have a question.
Oh, there you go.
So on the cotton canvas sheets, I'm looking at that stuff going, fins. And so the one thing that I wondered about is if you wanted to sand airfoils and that stuff, is it possible?
I guess you could. It's pretty gnarly stuff to sand.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because it kind of looks like it in the picture.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You'd almost be better off if you could somehow figure out a way to clamp it down and hit it with a grinder, some sort of a grinder to put it in. I built a machine out here to bevel the canvas. Mm-hmm. It works real well. It leaves a nice finish behind. But for the average guy at home, just to sand it, you could knock the leading edge off a little bit, you know. But I think to really
so
put
it's
a
really
big
like
bevel in
fiberglass.
a lot of guys
sounds like it.
Yeah, it really is. It's a pretty tough material. I'm sure you could run that through. A lot of guys do a router with I don't know, some sort of a bit that they put in there, and they build a backstop for it, and they slide them through. I would imagine that would pass through same as your fiberglass ones would.
So just a testimony too
that's
on this new unboxing video that I just recently did earlier today on that 4-inch Zodiac. I do have a close up of the fins and the airfoiling that Mike does for you, and there is a really precise 1/16 of an inch to 3/32 of an inch leading edge in between the bevels on the 3/16 inch phenolic that he used on the fins, and it looks incredible. So I'm going to work on that this weekend. But this unboxing video, man.
Yeah. all the kits come. All the fins are all beveled on all.
And it's
kits.
Amazing work.
That's
good job.
You don't have to do anything. And speaking of fins and centering rings, you did your unboxing and all those beautiful centering rings that are in there, and the fins the way they're cut out and stuff. That's I gotta put a shout out to Nat Kinsey, Upscale CNC. Nat has been with us since day
Fantastic.
one. I remember clear as a bell the day I walked up to him on the field, and I said, Nat, I'm thinking about making some rockets. Would you be interested in cutting parts for me? And he said, yeah, sure. Let me know, whatever, and whatever. And a little bit of time went by, and I got to that point there, and reached out to him, and that was, I've known him longer than that, but 7 years ago he started cutting our stuff, and here's what's really the icing on the cake for that deal is Nat is a flyer, so if it was just a CNC shop and I sent a print or some measurements or something out, and the guy looked at it, he would cut me exactly what I sent him, whether it's right or wrong. That's what I asked for, and that's what I would get back. And that's good, but that's bad.
I understand.
Nat, I don't know how many times, he's kind of caught things a little bit, or we'll have a discussion over something and say, you know what, maybe maybe we should have put a pocket in here,
Okay.
or maybe this step should be a little bit shorter, or where you got your pin in for your booster harness. Maybe if we shifted a little close. He's a rocket guy, and he understands every part that he's
Testimony.
making for us.
There you go.
He understands
I love
exactly. Yeah, for sure. So he's known pretty good in the community, in the rocket community. A lot of guys go to him for this stuff, but I don't think a lot of people really realize how integral he is with our deal. We actually, I joke with him and I say, if it wasn't for you, I'd have tubes with points on them. There's, I mean, really, we wouldn't be able to put this together without him. So, and so that's huge for us. I can't tell you how much we appreciate having somebody like that, or being able to work with us all.
And thanks to you
Indeed.
too, Mike. Seriously, thanks to you too for giving a shout out to somebody that helps with making sure that the business runs smoothly. And that's once you guys see this unboxing video, I have a lot of close ups, and it's amazing. So I don't know what'll come out first, this episode or the unboxing.
Thanks.
Video, but you guys will see, and then. Just go visit the website. I mean, CG, I can already, I can imagine the discussions we're going to have here in the next couple of weeks after you get to roll through that pretty good. So
speaking of looking at the website, I'm looking at it right now, and
awesome. Too fun.
And as I'm looking at it right now, I'm looking. I have some questions about. There's some other stuff that looks real interesting, like your thrust plates and your altimeter bay kits. Those look like. Those are custom made. And what kind of accessories and the deployment canisters? Tell us a little bit about all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff we do in house. The canisters, they're. I have a local shop who punches those out for us for the aluminum. But other things that we do is we have these nose cone bay kits that are available. They're kind of universal. They'll work in a plastic nose cone. They love to go in a fiberglass one that's got a nice removable shoulder in it and stuff. They have a 7-inch long bay. They're either 38 millimeter or 54 millimeter. There's a closure on the end that takes a stainless steel eye nut to kind of hold your harness and stuff to it. But those we do in house. We've been doing a lot of 3D printing. The altimeter bays, the all tread rod that's inside is all aluminum. We try to go stainless steel eye nuts on the ends.
That's aluminum.
The canvas lids that are on them. But we also do 3D printed sled inside, and I'm sure that picture of the 4-inch Zodiac there, you had it laying out. But our materials are pretty close to most of the others out there as far as sizing. So you could grab one of our 3.9 or 4-inch ab bays. They're 10-inch long, and it's pretty much everything is there. It comes with a switch band. Whether you're using somebody else's material or not doesn't really matter, because the wall thickness basically is about the same. So, that's another one of our things. The booster bridles with the steel pin. That's something we've done from the beginning. As a matter of fact, when we first started it, the bridle wasn't even Kevlar. It was nylon, tubular nylon. And I got beat up right away for that. Hey, man, it's a great idea, but, how about a piece of Kevlar in there? And then that's one of those deals where when we started to get into Kevlar, there's a lot of obstacles along the way to get things done, because your Kevlar distributors out there don't necessarily want to sell you 500 feet of Kevlar. They want to sell thousands of feet and whatever. So, as far as pricing and trying to pick up materials and change things over, there's a little bit of a challenge of getting that done. But anyway, so we switched over and went to the Kevlar and the bridle, and that's kind of been our signature in the boosters ever since. Never had anybody say that one failed. And I have to say that if one failed, you need a broom and a shovel to clean up the mess, because because, something went really,
Right.
really wrong. So yeah, that's kind of one of our things there too. We do harnesses in-house, an awful lot of them too. It's kind of a half, not really a full-time
No,
job.
I understand.
That keeps us really, really busy with doing that. So there's a lot of things that go on in-house.
That you'd have to plan to do that. Yeah.
For our kits. Yeah. The couplers, the ID is standard on all the tubes. Also, that's not canvas phenolic, the couplers. It's a 2X phenolic.
Okay.
It's a machinable grade. The stuff is tougher than nails. But the OD on it, the tubes when we buy them, is oversized.
Okay.
So there's a lathe in the shop, and I have a mandrel for 54 millimeter, 3-inch, and 4-inch. We cut what we call the slip tube, the coupler. We cut those to the length, whatever we're using for couplers, whether it's nose cone or half bays. Those go on a mandrel on the lathe, and the OD gets actually turned down. It gets machined down so that the fit for that coupler into the tube is pretty much dead on. And that's a very time-consuming thing to do too. These nose cone bays, the plastic closures, they start out as it's a plumbing fitting. We buy them a few hundred at a time, and then same thing. You sit out there at the lathe, and you have to machine them down so that they fit your centering rings and plates and all that. So just a lot of manual stuff there. And getting back to Nat for a second, he's a lifesaver, because if we had invested in a CNC machine, the amount of time that you would spend on that machine takes away from all the time you need to be doing all this other stuff.
All right, we've hit that time to take another break here on The Rocketry Show. We're talking to Mike Crupe of Mack Performance Rocketry, and we're going to be right back right after this. We're up to Serious Rocketry right now. Serious Rocketry since 1998, providing the Rocketeer with great kits, motors, supplies, and more. They have lots of products in their ever-growing web store with fast shipping, wide selection, and courteous service. You can also check out the amazing and popular Serious Rocketry kits that harken back to the days of fun-to-build detailed kits that are more than just 3 fins and a nose cone. And Gene, what'd you find?
Oh, well, there's always something good to find on this website. I spent enough time on it. But one of my favorite 4-inch rockets is the Mad Cow Frenzy, with the dual split fin thing going on. It's a nice tall rocket. Does great on
whistling.
On whistling, yes. It could go on J or K if you want it, or even an L if you really felt like you're doing it. But sometimes you're not able to get up that high, or you want something a little bit smaller. So Mad Cow Rocketry has a 1.6-inch diameter mini Frenzy. Now, check this out. It's hand-laid fiberglass nose cone. It comes with a flame-proof chute protector, laser-cut plywood fins, Kevlar nylon shock cord. It has a little bit of both, and a heavy-duty cardboard body tube. So that's the generally high-power type thickness on the cardboard tubing. It's 32 inches long. It's comes in at 1.6-inch diameter, weighs about 8 ounces when built. Comes with an 18-inch nylon parachute, and it's got a 29-millimeter motor mount. So it's basically a mini Frenzy. So you'll still get that whistling action. You're not going to, send it up. But you know what? This is a really cool, you could have a big Frenzy next to a little Frenzy, do a drag race, have it whistling, and all this stuff. It's a really cool kit. I have to get one of these because I forgot that Mad Cow had that smaller one. But from Mad Cow Rocketry, you get all of that with the plywood, with your chute protector, with your Kevlar, all that for $46.95 from Serious Rocketry. So if you like Frenzies, add this one to your collection. I know I will.
Wow, and while you're adding that, you're going to notice that Serious Rocketry's website has real-time stock tracking. And that lets you order with confidence from their online store. No having to call or write to see if something is really in stock. When you're ready to fly, Serious Rocketry has motors and hardware in stock from Estes through Aerotech High Power, as well as popular electronics from Jolly Logic and more. Be sure to ask them about their club specials while you're there and visit their websites today at siriusrocketry.biz and .com. Serious Rocketry for the Serious Rocketeer. North Coast Rocketry, established in 1984, is the company that practically invented the class of rockets known today as mid-power. North Coast Rocketry takes advantage of over 30 years of high-power experience by a world-class rocketeer. North Coast Rocketry features a wide range of unique kits to expand your personal high-power rocket fleet. When you see an NCR rocket fly, you will encounter an absolute treat of sight, sound, and performance. Once you own and fly a North Coast Rocketry kit, your rocketry hobby will never be the same, and neither will your rocket fleet. In addition to great kits, North Coast Rocketry also stocks lots of must-have items and accessories for every Rocketeer's workshop. Go to NorthCoastRocketry.com today to find out more about these kits and other great products. NorthCoastRocketry.com. Advanced rockets that are easy to build, fun to fly, and look great on display. Welcome back to The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. We're talking to Mike Crupe of Mack Performance Rocketry, and we're going to toss it to Jesse because, as always, he's got a question.
Let's see. We touched base on the nose cone av bays. Can you talk a little bit about that and like how those are set up? Because it seems very similar to I'll go ahead and drop the name here, a Lock Precision removable nose weight system, but it's not. Can you kind of tell us like how that's assembled and like what components go together to make that workable? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I actually, it's the way it works is there's two centering rings, and the one centering ring has a step in it, just like a thrust plate. If you're using a plastic nose cone, you would take and you would cut the heel off of it, the very end, the very heel off of it. And that stepped plate would actually fit up against the back of the nose cone. On the inside of a molded nose cone, there's that indentation where it goes from the shoulder to the cone itself. So we have a second ring, centering ring, that fits over either a 38 millimeter or a 54 millimeter tube. And, excuse me, you lay the nose cone down on its side, you kind of lean on it to make it egg-shaped, and you slide that centering ring in there and flip it up, and it locks into that notch inside the nose cone.
Are you picturing this, Jim and CG? Are you following? Because
I'm trying to.
I'm looking at the pictures.
Yeah. It epoxies into that step.
Yeah.
And then the tube, the plastic tube, or the cardboard tube, the phenolic tube, goes into the plastic closure, and everything gets glued. You slide the rest of it in, and everything epoxies into the inner centering ring, and the outer centering ring gets epoxy on it. It's tough to, in detail, explain it. But when you go to a filament wound fiberglass nose cone with a removable coupler, it does it the same way, except for you take the coupler and you just build this thing into the coupler, and then you take the coupler and you epoxy it into the nose cone. It's much easier to do, but it's also made so that step goes in against the coupler on the aft end of the coupler, and then the front ring goes up against the forward edge of the coupler. Same thing. It locks it in between. And so, it's a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I think I just used 1,000 words without the picture.
We invite everybody to go to your website and take a look at that, because it's usable. And honestly, any of you guys who put anything together, you're going to be able to do this for an electronic-based sled. You're going to be able to do this for nose weight if you can fandangle that. There's so many different uses for this. Conway speaks very heavily of this, and I think some of the rockets that he flew last year in 2021 and in October and in June, CG and G, when we were talking to Conway, he used some of these on, I think, some of his rockets that he put out there. So we might have to ask him some questions, but this is where he got them. And Gene, looking at that stuff, you're looking at it right now. I mean, what do you think? It's cool, right?
It looks really cool. I want to build it. So,
Yeah, me too. We have to. I mean, there's so many uses for this.
Yeah, we sell tons of them. It's amazing. And like you say, it's a nose cone bay, but just because it's a bay doesn't mean you have to put something specific in there. You can put anything you want in there. And of course, if you're going to add weight to your rocket, there's no better place to add it. So, yeah, very, very popular.
No, thanks for the info on that. Seriously, I mean, I'm sure you can use that on different type of nose cones too. You guys do have the ability to have a plastic nose cone that you guys sell with your kits, or they can get a Von Karman type nose cone that's fiberglass too, right? That's what I understand.
Yeah, pretty much all the kits have the option for that upgrade in there. There's, you could make so many different combinations of things. That's really the motor mount size and the nose cone really are the only two options that we've got in there. But it's funny. I get so many requests. Somebody will say, I'd like to buy one of your kits, this and that, but would you make the booster this length, and would you shorten the payload or whatever, or like the black flies? And I really should just put it on
just make an
on the
extension
website and offer it that way.
No, I feel you.
Well, a head end deploy, they're so easy. You order it with the film, the Von Karman, and the coupler's already there. You just stuff an ab bay in it, and a switch band lock ring, and you're in business. But we almost ought to just offer it that way. But we've also had tons of guys say, geez, I don't want to buy a whole 57-inch long tube. Can you sell me a foot of, 3-inch, 4-inch, whatever they're working on, and a coupler? And, we do it that way too. A lot of guys, I fly both ways, but a lot of my stuff is standard dual deploy. I call it standard, but has a payload. But then, a lot of stuff has the head end deploy too, which is that's a pretty cool way to fly. Also, I guess it really depends on what you're flying as to what works the best or makes the most sense.
Very cool.
Too cool, guys. So, one last question: in your experience, do you have any type of data for yourself or from a flyer that has used the canvas phenolic, the fastest and highest anybody has flown with unreinforced phenolic airframe?
I don't really have
feedback for that. Yeah. What about your own personal experience? What's the fastest you went? Was it that one that you told us about earlier?
The Hyper 54, the 2.3 and 23,000. Yeah, that's. It had paint on it. It was a canvas tube. It had, it had a binder design fin can on it, stuff, and it absolutely. It took everything I threw at it. I put an L1040, Loki L1040 in it with a big 2800 case, and it.
All right, that's. Wow.
It took it like nothing.
That's okay. And that's unreinforced, like no extra tip to tip or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, it's too cool.
No, nothing at all. I'm sure if the fins were surface mounted.
Well, yeah.
If I didn't have that Mike Fisher.
Right.
Mike Fisher.
Oh, there you go.
There. You'd have to do tip to tip. You'd have to do something with it. I would imagine.
Figure that.
Some guys will take that material and they'll cut a pocket in it to kind of set the fin in. Some guys actually will go all the way through the tube, slot it all the way through. They'll take a motor case and wrap it in saran wrap a few times and stuff it in there and use it to
this is too fun, what I'm saying? Man. This is too fun.
Yeah.
That is too cool.
And they mud them in that way and then still do tip to tip. There's a lot of guys will say maybe that weakens an airframe, but I don't know. You put enough glue in it, I guess it'll take it. But my own personal, I try to fly the stuff as hard as I can, when I'm able to, when I'm in the right situation. I don't I don't think really there's a per se you can say this is where the breaking point is or whatever. I think I mentioned before, construction. It depends on how people put things together. That's right. I started telling you that I'm a lazy builder, and I am, and I get away with it a lot. I'll do.
That's great, man.
I'll do like the Scorpion. I'll take when I put the fin can together, motor tube and centering rings are in there. But when I put the fins in, I take and I butter up the bottom of the fin, and I drop it in, and I rub it up against the motor tube, and then I pull it back out. And then I butter it up a second time, and I stuff it back in. I do that 3 times. And after the 3rd time, you'll be amazed how much of a fillet is in there between the motor tube and the fin. So I'm all done with that one. That one's
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. And then I go to the outside. I do my externals, and then I foam the can. Man, foam is your best friend. My best friend.
All right.
It's good for water landing too, because you're rocking.
There you go. Another testimony for foam. Another testimony for foam. I'm not going to lie. I hated using foam. I tried it a couple times. I hated using it because when I'd break a fin or something, I'm like, I can't clean this up. I can't get this out. So I'm like, I don't want to use foam. And I was very vocal about it before. And then Bill and Rachel, they testify, you know what? No, we build all our stuff with foam. And they got mad at me. So now I can't say I hate foam because, I don't have the experience. So if you guys testify that foam is good, then I will stand behind foam. CG and Gene, do you guys foam anything?
I concur. I've never foamed.
I have not.
I've done.
Okay. Yeah, I've not done that myself yet.
I did one a long time ago, and it was like a 3-inch, and I gave it. It wasn't enough to get an idea, and it was messy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. So I mean that's good testimony. So thank you for bringing that up.
Right.
So yeah, that's fun.
No, you if you're going to use foam, you need to tape off, wrap, or anything you don't want to have to clean that stuff off. You need to cover
I didn't
up.
know that at the time.
Oh yeah, and if you overpour, it's like a volcano coming out the top, and what a mess it does. But once you get comfortable with it and using it, kind of I always say to people, if you're going to try the foam you haven't before, take a little Dixie cup and just put a couple little splashes in. Don't get carried away. Look and see what it does.
Yeah.
Get an idea for it. Some people will tell you it's 10 to 1. Some will tell you it's 30 to 1. So, some people say put a couple drops of water in it. I think it's a PML. I think had expanding foam that you could change the expansion rate by adding a couple drops of water. Ours doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different product. It's urethane, but yeah. Once you're kind of comfortable with it, and I tape up everything. I even sometimes stick the rocket in a garbage bag, take the bag right up to the back, and then where I'm gonna when you need to put your rear centering ring in, I even tape off inside the airframe from the back heel of the fins all the way out the end there, and it makes it so much easier to clean it out. But yeah, I'm a big fan.
Cool.
I can't argue with that. The experience speaks wonders when it comes to things like that. So
yeah, absolutely. I'll take that endorsement and listen.
All right. So
don't mess with success.
Yep, pretty much. All right. So Mike, got a present for you. When you come out in May, I have been told officially by 2 different guys that I'm talking to right now. They're pinging me here on Messenger, right? Literally saying right now. From George Barnes, Conway and I are planning to drag race our 4-inch black flies on K2050s when Mike visits. Have you guys seen a K2050?
That's awesome.
No.
Yes.
It's like 0.6 seconds. It is the most ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
is the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Don't blink. Yeah.
Is it like a Blue Thunder?
No, it's like Propellant X.
Gosh.
Or something like that.
So
real fast.
I have seen Ryan Winslow fly a 4-inch Drago on that motor, and it blew my mind. So I can imagine a black fly on that. Mike, you got some fans, man. You got some fans. I guess I need to buy a black fly. Start making one. I'll pay for it.
Yeah. George, I think, has flown his 4-inch on an L1000 also.
Yeah, that's your motor, Jim. Your favorite, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we got to bring on George Barnes. We got to bring on Tim and Jackie. We got to bring on probably Conway again. So Mike is helping us get our roster for the year, guys, for our season.
There you go.
There you go.
Get Andrew back on here. We
Absolutely.
haven't heard from him in a while. We got to get him to testify some more.
Yeah. I got one other person I want to give a quick shout out to too, is Mark Hayes from Sticker Shock. He's been since we started. You know, I talked to him in the beginning and I said, this is what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm doing, but if you can help me along here in any way, any advice with things. I had bought vinyls from him, you know, prior to that and stuff, but he pretty much handles everybody who's anybody. He handles all their vinyls and stuff. So I said to him, you know, would you be interested in doing my vinyls? And he said to me, you know, what kind of a deal? What do you want looking to do? What do you, whatever? And I said, I don't want anything. I just want that, you know, when we sell a kit, I can tell a customer that all the vinyls for all of our kits are available at Sticker Shock 23.
There you go.
And that's your business. That's your due, whatever. And, you know, we get so much feedback from our customers, the service they get and the response, the conversations they've had with Mark. He's a great guy. He's really, you know, been there for us ever since we started up. I'll say to him, here's a good one. That Exocet that we just came out with. It's pretty busy. It's got a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of like the Bolt missile, and the Exocet was one of our customers' ideas, and it kind of got dumped into Mark's lap a little bit. Like, well, we want military. It's you know, it's definitely a missile thing. It was based off of the original Exocet, which looks nothing like it. It's not even the same color. That's why we have the FS on there. It's fantasy scale. So, but Mark, man, he put the time in to, you know, dig through the archives for different types of stuff and put the right combination of vinyls together. And man, what a good looking rocket that turned out to be. But, you know, that's all the extra mile that he goes to get that stuff done. And a lot of people don't realize, you know, maybe that is what he does, but at the same time, they don't realize how much time is involved in doing it. So, man, thanks, Mark.
You.
We appreciate it more than you can imagine. And not just for us, for our hobby.
Right.
You know,
I think all of us here, you know, we have a pretty good rapport with Mark, and you know, CG and you guys have all CG and Jimmy, you guys have got some stuff from him too, and he's
Oh God, yeah, he's done all my archers. He's like done archers, my entire archer set.
Yeah.
Oh, and he loves it too. So thanks a lot, Mark, and thank you for that shout out too. Honestly, Mike, I mean, we appreciate you guys all doing this stuff for the hobby. We're excited to get some Mack stuff and get it built and flown.
And going back to Tim and Jackie, I mean, everybody knows we advertise, we sell the Wildman nose cones, and that's his glass and stuff too. And that's why I made sure people understand that those guys are so dedicated. So,
That they are.
So, Mike, I want to hear what your hobby is outside of hobby rocketry. I hear you do some pretty cool stuff. Care to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I've really been a car guy all my life. Right out of high school and stuff, we wound up. I worked in dealerships, Ford dealerships, and been around cars all my life. And then back in the early 90s and stuff, I had an opportunity to go into the industrial world. So that's where Patty and I spent 25 years with the business there and retired out of there. And the last few years, I've been kind of lucky enough to be able to get back to the cars a little bit. For the longest time, there's priorities in life like everything else. Bars, born again Rocketeers, man. There's family, there's life gets in the way. You go in a different direction, but you it's nice to be able to come back to the things that you really love. So, I've got an old 1964 Chevy C10 fleet side pickup truck that I'm doing a frame off restoration on. And
Did you say frame off?
3.5 years of my, yeah. So it's been
wow,
3.5 years I've been working on it. The chassis, drivetrain, that's all done sitting in the shop tarped. The cab for it and sheet metal has just gone to the body shop.
Oh wow!
So I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to get it together by the end of the summer and be able to drive it this year. But that's been great to kind of get back to that, things like that and all. This the rocket business it's not something that we do. It's what we do. This is our commitment that we've made, and it's 365 days a year. And I joke about the guy with his paycheck at 2 a.m, but it's you really you take it as it comes and as it goes. We try to do the customer service, but the business and so many other things in life come first before the truck and the others. So I get to go out there in the evenings and putter around. And I always tell Patty, if I get one thing done today and one thing done every time I go out there to work on it, before you know, you're making some progress
with everything.
Even though it's been 3.5, even though it's been 3.5 years, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can step back and look at it.
And you get that satisfied feeling, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually, when I got out of the automotive and got in the industrial, I'm a welder fabricator. We had a millwright service, mechanical installations, maintenance, that type of stuff. So it's kind of like a modern day blacksmith. You're master of all, or jack of all trades, master of none type thing. There again, doing all that, the automotive stuff really, there really wasn't any time for it. You'd go in, you'd be on the job all day, and then you come home and you work a few hours every night, prepping stuff in the evening to take on the job the following day. So life really, really got in the way for quite a while, but I'm pretty stoked over the truck deal here. And that's Conway and I, we talk all the time about it. That's right up his alley. I mean, when I made mention that I'm a car guy, man, it's like lighting a fuse, it was pretty crazy. But so I send him pictures back and forth.
My boss at work, we call that put a quarter in you, and that'll wind you up, and you won't stop at that point.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of my thing. Patty and I, we snowmobiled for years. We're not that far from the Adirondack Park. Some of the best snowmobiling in the country was there. That was a big thing for us for a long time. Actually, for quite a few years starting in the early 90s up till 97, we used to grass drag snowmobiles.
That's awesome.
Power Sled Racing Organization. It was a big organization in the Northeast, and that's the circuit that we followed. And Patty was the driver.
Okay.
Cool. She ran a B stock big 700 sled. She was one of the 3 fastest women in the country.
Wow.
She really
nice.
Very, very accomplished. In 97, she won a B stock championship for Bombardier for Skidoo. It was pretty cool. And then the manufacturers all got involved and all that, and it got tough for independents. There was no money in it. Racing. I guess unless you're in NASCAR and you win races, there's no money in it. It's like boating a hole in the water you pour money into. But we did it till 97, and we got out of that, and then you move on to the next great adventure, and we've been able to, experience and do quite a bit of stuff over the years together. So.
That sounds great. It sounds great. I got a gift for you, Mike. I'm gonna leave my stuff with this. Give me just a minute to read this out. Testimony from a customer of yours, that made its way to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing about Mike is his incredible precision and craftsmanship. His edges are finished. The special and unique way he actually packs and ships his products. Every piece is fitted to every part in his kits, or about how light how his stuff is and how strong it is. I don't know anyone making kits with the fit and finish of Mack. Dry fits out of the box are a thing of beauty. His pride in his work is apparent. You're doing something right, man. So,
nice.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
it's
for
so
sure.
nice to hear. It's funny because, I guess a lot of people will get into the hobby businesses and they have this big idea they're going to make $1 million and, feed their family and pay their mortgage and put their kids through school. And it just doesn't work that way. This is kind of a love of what you're doing type thing. Of course, you make a few bucks,
Of course,
or you wouldn't do it,
Sure.
and it helps. I love to fly. Motors are expensive,
Right.
Yep.
Gasoline, diesel fuel, everything in travel is expensive.
Yeah, pulling a trailer is
and everything
expensive, man.
else. Yeah. So it's kind of cool in that respect. But I really, when you go to the field, the first couple of years, we would go someplace to fly, and I'd say to Patty, "Oh man, I hope somebody's flying one of our rockets."
Really?
And the day would
That's
come
awesome.
and go, and nobody flew any canvas. I was so disappointed, And of course, we'd only sold a handful of kits, anyways. It's not like
Right.
we were lighting the world on fire. And now, after 7 years, it's crazy. It seems like wherever you go to fly, somebody's flying a canvas kit. And for us, that's the real reward. Because when we go to the launches anymore, we don't have a banner up, we don't drag kits, I go to fly, just be one of the guys, whatever. And there's been, I don't know how many times, you'll see somebody a couple of tables down and I recognize the kit laying on them and they're all excited and they're doing this and they're doing that. And they don't know who we are a lot of times. And it's good just to see that natural feedback that you can read off of people. They go out to the pad, they fly, the enthusiasm is there. And for us, man, that's the reward right there. People are just flying it as much as we're enjoying making them. So, yeah, that's huge. That's huge for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot, man, for all you've been doing for the hobby and that satisfied feeling that you're getting, with your feedback and stuff. I mean, hope it continues for sure. And this is great for us.
Hey, when I get closer to the summertime, when I'll start working on some prototyping of with the level 2 rocket booster and stuff, I'll be in touch because there's some stuff in here that I think I might try to make use of for my level 2 project.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to take a look at what you're doing.
Well, thanks for joining us. It's been a great time, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Oh, no problem.
Anytime.
Yeah, I did the forum for a while. There's only, there's really only one magazine still left out there. And, the magazine, people look at it once and they don't pick it back up again. And the forum is, it's the forum. But what you guys have going on now is, I think, really cool.
Thanks.
There's no other place you can really go, oh, you're welcome. But there's really no other place that people can go and see what goes on behind the curtain or hear about, what's the backside of the hobby? How does things happen? Who and what and where and everything else. that's pretty cool to have the podcast and be able to. And I feel honored that you guys, would ask me to come on and do this.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
There's a captive audience here that you really can't find in too many places. The forum was one, and something like this.
I think that's
is
exactly
another.
why CG decided to start the podcast and pulled in Gene. So yeah, that's exactly what he was
A
looking
labor
for.
of love. So.
It's
Something to listen to while he was working on stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's snowballing for you guys that you're able to track and see how much interest there is and everything else. And I look forward to it. Once I figured out it was there, I joke. I say I'm a silent listener. I mean, I listen, but I don't say anything. You know what
that's
I mean?
most people.
I joined up onto your email list and stuff. Yeah, exactly. But it's pretty interesting, and I don't care who you are. I mean, every one of the podcasts, there's something in every one of those that is information that people didn't know, didn't realize. I don't care, how involved you are. It's there's a lot that goes on, and it's just really nice to find out about that. I look forward to your podcasts in the future.
Thank you.
I hope you're able to get a hold of Tim and Jackie and whatever and get those guys to come on. I wouldn't miss that one for a million years, $1 million.
And you know what? To the people listening, right now, if you have ideas of who you want to hear, let us know. Mailbag at TheRocketryShow.com. Folks like Mike, friends, people that that haven't been mentioned, let us know. Give us some ideas because we'll work our hardest to try to get these folks on. So, Mike, this has been a pleasure. Seriously. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me on, guys.
You're very welcome. And enjoy your trip.
Oh, well, we'll see you guys in a few
He could always
weeks
drive through Ohio and just stop by, right?
Anytime.
He could.
I am going right through there. I'm going right through on 90 all the way.
A couple miles from my house.
He could. Yes. There
you go. Our itinerary is pretty much set. We have to keep moving. We're doing I don't know. I think it's 5 days on the way out. We're not going to kill ourselves, but we still have to keep moving along. We'll be out there a couple days early.
Sounds good, man.
Like I say, we're going to spend some time up in Cheyenne and check things out up there, and then ease our way into the Pawnee and have a great time.
Man, CG and Jim, if you guys ever got to come out here, you would just enjoy it. It's a different atmosphere. I mean, I need to go to Ohio to see you guys. I need to get up to New York to go visit a lot of folks. Mike and there's a lot of flyers that I talked to personally. I mean, it's all about time, right? But thanks for making the effort to come out, Mike. This is going to be great, and I'll talk to you on the field, and maybe we can have a report, that we can share with everybody after the fact. So,
yeah, if anybody's ever out our way, you're always welcome. The house is open, the store is open.
That's so
Love
nice.
to
Thank you.
Have you stop by? We'll take you out for a meal someplace and show you
Thanks,
the
man.
area.
Yeah,
Sounds
much
good.
appreciated.
Option is always there.
Yes.
More than welcome. More than welcome.
Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully running into you when we make our way out to Potter.
And we will.
Absolutely. Let me know when you're going out. That's kind of a staple for us to go out there and fly. Been a little quiet the last year or two with things going on, but yeah, that's our home field advantage right there.
Cool.
Thanks for being on with us, and we'll look forward to next time. That was a great interview from Mike Crupe of Mack Performance, and a fun one too.
Indeed. I hope you guys out there enjoyed it. It was we may have gone a little long on this one, maybe just a scotch,
just a little.
Yeah,
but it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Yes.
Like a lot of people don't know about the whole canvas phenolic thing, and I think it's a good it's a good medium for body tubes and stuff, and the fins.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued. I'm still intrigued. So I sense that the level 2 has a general contractor for level 2 and beyond
Nice.
here. So.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Make it so.
Make us on a one. Make it so. So what have you guys been up to here? We've all been busy. There was a huge, big pause in our production schedules because, life just got in the way. And, with me, work and launching of a new product and Jesse's got some personal things and Jeem, you had stuff going on. But Jeem, I'm going to start with you because you got great news.
Oh, yes, I do.
In your world.
I do, actually. It's not really necessarily for me. It's more of my TARC team. They went out and Chris Pearson did the spotting for my 2 flight teams. One team got on their first score a 5. And if you know anything about the scoring in TARC, 0 is the best. The average score is, the average score is maybe 20 is a good score, is a very good score.
Wow.
So, for the 3 flights that they did, they take the 2 best and they average out. They got a score of 15. So we knew that they were going.
Awesome.
The other, it was great. They hit the altitude exactly at 835 was the goal this year. And I couldn't believe it because I'm sitting there looking, I'm reading the altimeter, the Firefly, with my little field display thing. And I'm clicking through and I'm like, 835. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly the altitude you guys wanted.
Amazing.
And it was like 0.2 seconds off on the time. So that's where they got dinged on the time. So that added about
it's down to
5
tenths
points.
of a second.
Yeah, because that time gets multiplied by 4, and then that's added. That is added to your score. I think they did that multiplier thing because people were scoring like so consistently on some things that they had to add that multiplier into the time just to make it a little more interesting because you go for the time. If you get the altitude, even better. So I was real proud of the guys. So we get to go to TARC. And I think out of the 40 teams in Ohio that were going to compete in it, we are the only team representing Ohio this year. So the guys are all excited about that. And we're going to see if we can get some media blitz on that to say, hey, look at us. So
congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good work, team.
Well-deserved media blitz.
Yeah, it's the second time we're going this year. So some of the guys, they're seniors. So this is their last huzzah in TARC world. So I'm really hoping that they do well because I want to get that NASA SLI invitation for the team. If they get in the top 25 at TARC out of the 100 teams that are going to be there, they automatically get an invitation to NASA SLI. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And that's the ultimate goal, to get these guys into doing some high-power stuff with NASA. So we shall see.
And if you want to find out what happens, I think this is like a month from now when you're actually at the competition.
Yes.
So we're going to pre-plug something here and say we will be giving you updates on how that goes, but it's going to be on the Model Rocket Show. So keep an ear out on that stuff there.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, I'm going to work on Daniel's side of things and see what I can do and, talk on that side for a little while.
I'm excited.
No, it'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cool. How about you, Jesse?
I got a bunch of little stuff happening now. I actually did pick up something that I was going to try to redo for Tim Van Milligan over at Apogee. We're starting our stuff that I was telling you about redoing some of the rockets that they have there in the showroom floor. Yeah. So I'm excited to actually kick that off and start it. On a personal level, I want to just kind of little blurb out, for everybody that kind of reached out to me about, my mom and stuff. In past episodes, I told you about some mom's love for my rocket hobby, which, she didn't love actually. But, it is my mom and we're taking care of her and, everything's looking up and up. But, at the same time, she's a little older than most other parents. And, I'm just taking every day as a blessing. And, I appreciate for everybody that reached out to me, give our family some, deep needed, you know what I'm trying to say. But thank you everybody for that. And, as far as projects go, I got a Mack Performance Zodiac that I started. And I'm hoping to get that done by, the first week of May because we are, we might have mentioned that Mike is going to try to come out here to Colorado to fly with us. And man, I want to be able to stand next to the guy with my Zodiac, standing proud and, trying to acquire. I'm trying to acquire another M1297. So if anybody's got an insight on some of that, then let me know because I would definitely be interested in it. So everybody's out right now. But other than that, that's what Jesse's doing. But I'm happy to be back here and talking to you guys. So how about you, CG?
Brother.
What's going on with you, dude?
Oh man, a whole lot, but none of it has to do with rocketry. It's all good though. It's pretty exciting stuff. So I'm going to just make it really brief and say that the last month or so, or we've been in the big push to get onto the world my digital version of an analog audio device that I've worked on for decades. And it was waiting to be put into digital form. And I've done stuff before in digital DSP in a previous job, and it's a pretty big product that I was involved with. But this one here was like my very extra special one because I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it just took a lot of research to make it happen because of the way it works.
Okay.
So it's running and it's out there, and we are in the last stages. We're just waiting for components to come in from overseas to, start shipping this stuff out and selling them. So it's exciting stuff. So yeah, it's any day now that stuff should get
Right.
it. We got everything else now. We're just waiting on the last component. So
Okay. That's good.
so yeah, pretty exciting stuff in my world. So once that's out there and rolling, I will start turning my attention to. Well, actually, I've already started kind of turning my gaze back to the rocketry side of things to kind of pick up where I left off on stuff. So, yeah.
It's got to be a level 2 coming this summer.
No level 2 this summer.
Okay.
I still have to pick up where I left off last, and it's been in a holding pattern for geez. When was the last time I flew anything? It's going to be it was summer 2020. So,
Wow.
That's right. The telemetry stuff.
So and right now my bigger interest is going to be doing the full test of the flight computer as far as its flight performance. So I do want to get a full dual deploy. It looks like it'll work just fine just based on the data, but I want to actually see it do it all. So
of course,
that's the big thing. And then from there, I'll be pulling back on the design a little bit and breaking things apart on it. So the electronics will go kind of modular because I was kind of like emulating the commercial stuff, fitting everything on one board. But the problem is every time I do a hardware revision, I've got to respin everything.
Yep.
Oh,
and
man.
it's like most of it's fine. Most of it's never going to change. But I've got like a pile of these boards now, of block, flight computer boards where most of it's the same thing and it's been working, but it's the peripherals that keep changing. So I'm just going to make peripheral boards, where it'll just connect to those.
Plug into that and done.
And then they can be mounted anywhere at that point, which so makes the design a little more flexible for me. So I can have like the MOSFET things. That part's the same. The flight computer is the same. I can break them apart if I want or keep it together. But there's the other things that I want to just kind of get it off of that, the things that are always the same, just get them off. That way I'm not respinning barometric pressures and all sensors and all that stuff over and over and over again, So yeah, that's what I decided on that.
Cool.
More details to come soon.
I'll tell you guys later about the that test stand rig that I have that I picked up. So that's for another show because we're going a little bit long. But so I have a new toy.
Really?
More things to talk about.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll save that one for a topic for next time. That's awesome.
All right. So I guess right now let's jump into our patron thank yous and the shout outs here. So let's see, who wants to start first?
Oh, I suppose I could go on page 1.
It's all one big page now. So
it still splits up.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I guess I'll start. So the Rocketry Show would love to thank all of these listeners for their personal support of our podcast. Todd West, Jonah Cheney, Matt Tudor. Thanks, Matt. Joe Sampetro, Les Rayburn. Thanks, Les. Steven Spencer, Bill Cook, Jason Cook. Guys, you're awesome. Thank you. Gary Rosenfeld, of course. Greg Ziegler.
Thank you, guys.
Toby Vanderbeek, the man, the myth, the Toby. Ken Blade. Eric
Thanks,
Hamilton. Ken. John Beans. The guy's always got a smile on his face. Love you, John. Thank you. Scott Hallett. Guy Wadsworth. Phil P. Tom
Phil.
Rum. There you go. Stephen Ray. Amanda Ho. Steve Sainer. Mark. Railbuttons.com. Randy M. Philip Kelly. And EverdonRocketry.com.
And Phil just got his level 2 this last weekend. So congratulations, Phil. And I know there's others that have got it too, but I actually got to see that one. So that was a great flight on his Zephyr. So congratulations, Phil, again.
Nice.
So let me continue, I believe. So Don Cheney is part of Everdon Rocketry. So thank you again, Don. And all right. So high-tech redneck rocketry. That's our good friend Stacy, and that's how he wants to be known. And he's got some pretty cool stuff lining up. So good job, Stacy. I'm sorry I missed you this last week. Jim Fields of Michiana Rocketry, annual supporter. Thank you, Jim, for signing up for that. And then Brett Naoki. Yeah, for sure. And then Brett Naoki, he's also new. Well, new-ish, right? And he's been on for a little bit there. But then Timothy Mock. Thank you, Timothy. Jeff Curtis. Team Semrock. So thank you for coming back on Team Semrock. Appreciate you guys. And then, Trucker Jim and Jim Wilson. Thank you, Jim, for, signing back up there. Phil Bridges. Thank you, Phil. Roy Tyson. Thank you. You've been on forever. I appreciate your support. We appreciate your support. Our buddy Norman Perkle. Norman, thank you so much. Hope everything's going good for you, my friend. Rob Hoagie, you've been on there for a little bit. Gary Dowd, Jack Pullman, remember? Now it's Jack Pullman. So thanks, Jack, and everybody. Don Johnson. So I love seeing Don's name there, because I just, Miami Vice stuff goes in my head, even though he's not related to that at all. But I just, in my head, that's where it goes. Pierre Marlou, thank you. Again, Pierre, thank you. And Jeff Curtis, Philip Calvin, John Bryan. You guys have been on here for a while. Thank you so much for your continued support. Casey Anderson, Mark Essenwine. See, obviously, Jim knows Casey.
Well, we both do.
You both do? Oh, okay. So he's Ohio. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Jimmy Burgess from Paradise Rocketry. Jimmy's building some stuff here. So keep your eyes on him. He's going to be doing some stuff here soon. Scott Masters. Thanks a lot, Scott. Once again, a name that's been on here for a while. It's really, really appreciate you guys. Your longtime patrons. Jason O'Scally, he's been on here for a while too. So has George Rocker. We finally got that name right too. So thank you for letting us know how to pronounce your names, everybody, because when we see them, it's not always clear. So thank you so much. Our buddy Charlie Harnett, he just flew his workhorse Lock Goblin the other day. So, it kind of looked like an Estes kit from how far it was back, but, it was still a Lock Rocket, but, congratulations, Charlie. That was fun. JohnRocket.com. So go check out JohnRocket.com when you guys can. And thank you for being a supporter. Yes. They've been on there for quite some time. Jason Rodney and Conway, you guys have been on here forever. Thank you so much for everything.
Tacos for 10.
Yeah. Then one of our newest annual supporters, Kyle MQ. Thank you, Kyle, for that patronage. We really appreciate everything. Over to you, CG.
All righty. And also thanking longtime supporter Paul Olivieri, as well as Sam Feinberg. Thank you both for being such a longtime supporter of the show. Also, John Sicker. Thank you for the support. And John is approaching his retirement phase, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff together on the patron side of things. We've just been waiting for his closing of the final pieces of work that he's got to do before he can retire. And we're going to have fun talking electronics for Rocketry.
There you go.
So, so it's a lot of fun stuff there. Sean Falkingham, thank you so much for your support of the show. You're an annual supporter. Brian Schenkenberger and also John Thompson. Thank you so much, John. Mark McBride, another longtime supporter, as well as Doug Wade. Thank you both. C. McCauley, thank you so much for your support. And Carl Hunting as well. And the Piedmont Student Launch Team. And Chris Irving, thank you so much for your support. Dave Simmons, good old Dave Simmons. He's been a longtime supporter and a big fan of the show and big fan of Rocketry too.
Thank you for your feedback too, David. We see your name a lot, and we love the questions. Yes. Keep them coming, please.
Absolutely.
Yes. SBR Rocketry, which is also Fusion Rocketry, FusionRocket.biz. Thank
Scott
you
Binder.
so much.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. John Kusher and Kelsey Black, as well as Brian Renneker. Thank you all for your support. And then Jerry Krause and Justin O'Neill. And if you wish to show your support for The Rocketry Show, just visit us at support.TheRocketryShow.com. And we have been scheming something to kind of show our thank you to a lot of you longtime supporters who have been supporting the show long before there were Patreon swag, swag for you. So we are working on some stuff. So we're finalizing some things, and once we have it all figured out, we're gonna announce during the show how you guys are going to be getting the thanks from us for being supporters. Yeah.
For real.
So there you go, our patron supporters here on the Rocketry Show. Thank you so much, all of you. You're a big help, actually.
Do you have a dad joke for us, CG?
There would be no show.
Do I have a dad jokes? I do not have. Well, I don't really have. On my Facebook timeline, it's more like dad joke memes and things more than dad jokes. But and most of them just don't work as standalone. You have to say something to me like in dad context, like my son gets tired of Dad, I'm hungry. He's like, hey, hungry, I'm Dad. How you doing? Stuff like that.
All right, fair enough. Well,
now, if you really want a bad dad joke, I have one.
Oh, please.
Well, James, there you go.
Please.
Okay. Well, why don't cannibals eat clowns?
Why?
They taste funny.
Okay, that was good. I needed that. Thank you.
On that note,
keep your eyes in the skies.
We'll see you next time, everyone. This has been The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com.
Have a comment? We'd love to hear it.
That was pretty good.
Send them to mailbag@TheRocketryShow.com. If you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to check out our sister show, TheModelRocketShow.com. The Model Rocket Show is hosted by the Rocket Noob and is all about low to mid-power rocketry. TheModelRocketShow.com with Daniel, the Rocket Noob. Check it out today. The views and opinions expressed on these programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Little Beth Entertainment or its sponsors.